paint, will be some things that we have to change on applying paint. So what we're going to do today is, and you're going to have white, blue, and yellow, and you can even split your yellow up and make it a little green if you want. That's up to you. And you know, if you remember, we're going to have two brushes. You're going to have a 1-inch brush, big guy, and a whittle guy. All right, we're going to use the big guy for 9% of this, number one. Number two, let me get a little light on the situation here. There we go. Number two, we're not going to wash this brush. You know, in object painting, you paint something red, you wash it out, go to blue, wash it out, go to yellow, wash it out, go to purple. This is going to have 5-10 colors in this by the time we're done, and then we'll wash it when we're done. So we're just going to keep rolling. Don't worry about washing this brush out, because our paint is so watery. Then you get this brush wet, then that's going to make our paint even thinner and even more watery. So that's another reason why we're not going to do that. So if you remember, when you watched the video with Mr. Bob Ross, he did one thing before he painted. He did something called priming the canvas. And you remember, he kind of covered his whole canvas in a coat of white to make the paint spread a little bit. Remember that stuff, that canvas, this paper will just soak paint up like a sponge. So the major difference between him and us, you know, we're using that temper paint. So if we go ahead and prime the whole thing and we start with our sky, well, by the time we get to the ground, that paint's dry. So what we're going to do is we're just going to prime the sky white for right now. So you need to figure out where you want your horizon line. I'd say somewhere close to halfway. If you want it straight across, great. If you want to put some hills in, that's fine too. Now this stuff does not have to be 2 inches thick like cake icing, but you want a good coat here. Okay, so let's stick to left to right. I don't want to see any crisscrosses. I don't want to see any up and down paint strokes, because this type of paint, you see you can see every line that you paint. I'm going to do a little dip there. So maybe we got a little hill over here. Alright, so we're just trying to get, and remember, you guys can pause and stop and rewind if need be, but I'm just going to kind of roll through this for time. Alright, so I'm getting a kind of nice good layer on here, like I said, not too thick, but you know, it's not pasty. So if your paint is not spreading, you don't have enough paint in your brush. Okay, so let's say right side is light source, left side would be a little darker. Okay, so instead of us coming in, you know, he kind of came in and did some crisscrosses with blue. We can't do that. We don't have that type of paint. So we're going to do what I call the double dip method. And the double dip method is exactly what it sounds like. Okay, so that means I'm going to dip two colors into my brush at the same time. Now, bottom line is, when you do this, okay, let me get a piece of paper for you guys to kind of see what I'm doing here. But when you go to paint, we're going to double dip two colors, okay? And the harder you press, you know, if you're pressing real hard and painting it on, it's going to blend to one color. We just want to kind of barely grab this thing and just kind of paint this stuff on lightly, because we want this thing to streak out. We want 4 or 5 different whites and blues and light blues. So 9 times out of 10, the second color I dip is what's going to show up more. So I'm going to go with my lighter color just in case. So we said our right side is light, our left side is dark. So we're going to start on our left side and pull towards our light. Kind of like we did with value. You know, we started in the darkest spot, then kind of blended towards the light source, and it got lighter. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go a little blue, and then I'm going to go a little white. So we got both colors in our brush. Okay, I'm not pressing very hard, just kind of lightly. All right, I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to kind of bring it to the left. Notice we're getting all these different blues and whites in there. Okay, not just a flat light blue like a cartoon. All right, we don't want that. All right, we want to get all these different blues and whites and light blues. Okay, so you notice I'm getting these streaks of color. Now, on my light side, I'm going to come back and work just some spots of white in here. I don't know if you guys remember when he did his water, but he would always start from the edge and pull the center. I kind of like that. So now this side's getting a little lighter. I'm going to come over here with just some straight blue now and pull some blue over here. So now we can kind of get a dark and a light side. Okay, so this may take you a couple minutes to work through this. It's all right, just don't press hard. If you feel like it's all kind of smushing in and blending into one color, you're probably pressing too hard. All right, either that or you got way too much in your brush. So take your paint brush, wipe it off on those paper towels a few times, get a lot of that paint off, and go back at it again. So as you can kind of see, it's white and it's kind of zigzagging in and out. All right, if somebody looks like they just drew a line straight down, that's dark, that's light, we don't want that. We want it to zigzag and weaving in and out. Okay, so that's a little bit of the double dipping. We double dipped white and blue. Of course, we did the blue first, the white second. Kind of wanted, like I said, the second color shows through. You want to start on your dark spot, because if you start on your light area and you get that too dark, well, what are you going to do? All right, so now we're sitting here. We've got a sky. Now, I don't know how it looks on the camera. I'm just kind of going by what it looks like on the projector. Sometimes my colors don't show up as well. So maybe I'll get rid of that light right there. That help? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so we've got some darks, we've got some lights. I am not going to wash out my brush. Okay, we're going to leave it what's in there. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard anybody call something a pastel color, but a pastel is kind of like a baby blue, or that kind of like that light white green, things like that. All right, and if I was to go prime my ground white, then work green over the top, I'm gonna get that pastel green, and that's not what we want. Okay, so believe it or not, instead of priming our ground white, we're going to prime it yellow. Well, guess what's in your brush? You got blue in your brush, so it's automatically, when you prime it, it's going to turn to like a lime green anyway. Don't worry about that. That's all right. We're going to work double dipping green over the top anyway. So I'm just kind of getting this guy kind of primed out a little bit. Now you may get a little bit of that white green in there because there is some white in your brush. But by the time we come back, excuse me, and double dip and add to it, not going to be an issue. Okay, so what I'm just trying to do is I'm just dipping straight yellow onto my brush. It's just mixing with whatever colors are in my brush. I'm just dipping straight yellow in there. Okay, don't be afraid. A lot of people are afraid to have their sky and their ground touch. Well, you got to have that. All right, so the sky and the ground, they share the same light source, so obviously we're going to be lighter over here and darker over here. So you got two options. We're going to double dip again, so you can either mix up some green and double dip green and blue over here, and double dip some green and yellow over here, or you can just kind of dip your brush in the blue and yellow and go heavier with the blue over here and heavier with the yellow over there. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, I'm probably just going to double dip. Actually, I may mix up some green. And I'm going to get double dip green and some blue together. We're going to start out just like that. I'm going to start with the left side because it's my darker. Now, if you've got a hill or something like that, I don't remember, but I think most every hour he did a mountain. Ooh, just kind of put a fingerprint on my painting, didn't I? So I'm going to start working some straight shots of blue over here to really darken this up. I should have taped this down, but oh well. Okay. Come back over here on the right side. Start working some straight shots of yellow. Getting that light going here. Okay, so let's get rid of that lamp there for a second. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so now we're getting some of those darks and lights. That's what we want. I'm going to come back in with a little bit more blue. Now, instead of using black for this today, we're just going to use blue to darken our green. Alright, now I'm getting some of those darks, got some of those lights over there. So the reason we went this route is because a lot of times artists will lay things out so they're not sitting